Hi, my name is DavidSW's, founder of DavidSW. A lot of you guys have been asking what watches do I own in my personal collection, so I decided to pull a few out and show you guys what I have. I want to start off with this specific one. It's the Patek Philippe 5070R. For me, this was the one that got away. When I first started, this was one of my first, sales I ever made. I had to sell it, and eventually it took a long time, maybe about 4 or 5 years, but I got the right one back. It's unpolished, perfect. It's the one watch that I would not sell. Next up, I'm going to show you guys my 2018 Basel PEPSI on Jubilee. When this model came out, it was highly anticipated. They did a great job with it. It's super comfortable. The Jubilee band gives you a lot of breathing room. I do think that the future collectability is there. That's why I have it in my collection. For someone that collects Rolex sport models, this is definitely one that you have to have in your collection. Next up, I'm going to show you guys my SEADWELLER 4000. It's probably one of my favorite watches in the collection. It wasn't too well received by the public. There were a lot out there, a lot on the marketplace. And when they suddenly discontinued it, the demand for it, skyrocketed. Probably in Rolex history, current modern, the shortest run that they ever made. 100% the future collectability is in this model. The watch for me is perfect diameter. I have a smaller wrist, 6.75, so I like 40mm. No Cyclops, perfect for SEADWELLER. It's glide lock, total package in this specific one. Next up, I'm going to show you guys my GMT PEPSI 16710. This one is circa 2008, so this is the M series, which is the last of the run. When these were being retired, I read an article online about the 3186 movement being in the last series. So I kind of started to hunt for them. It gets the best of both worlds. You get the updated movement that was in the newer model, and you get the no-holes case, slimmer profile of the previous model. It's a watch you have to have in your collection, 100%. One of the standard Rolex models that, 1960s to now, it has the same profile, same sort of characteristics. So next up, I'm going to show you guys my 16610 LV Submariner. You'll commonly hear people refer to it as KERMIT. When this watch was first introduced in 2003, it was a watch that was highly anticipated. It had the larger plot maxi dial, and the first series, they came with a flat 4 insert. So on the bezel, being the lighter shade, the 4, instead of coming to a peak at the later years, it goes horizontal. It was only in Y serial, late Y serial, and early F serial, F0, F01. There are not many of them around. Next up, I'm going to show you guys 5711 Blue Nautilus. Introduced by Gerald Genta in the 70s. Very popular model, Patek Philippe. There's a lot of desirability because it's rare. Piece you'll never see in the showcase. Very unique designs that you can't find in any other brand. 5711 from 100 feet away is a 5711. From 10 feet away, it's a 5711. Can't be mistaken for any other watch made. Now, I know earlier I said I don't do much 43mm, but when you have an offshore, that's just what you get yourself into. You have to wear a larger watch with AP. This specific one is the titanium 26400. This watch reminded me of the Schumacher, which was a predecessor to this model. I like a lot of grays, a lot of blacks, and this watch, it's perfect. Very understated, but the way they finished the titanium combination with the ceramic. For this model, 26400 is the best one for me. I always wanted a stainless steel one and just haven't been able to find the perfect one yet. And then this one just made its way to me, sold to me by a good client of mine. I told him this one would never leave, and it will never leave. It's unpolished, perfect condition, complete set. Still has a sticker on the case back. I wanted a couple times, but it's one that I don't want to put a ding in because it would kill me. GMT root beer. This specific one is probably one of the last root beers produced with this combination. Brown bezel, brown dial. This is a no holes case. So this one was a 16718. In 2018, they came out with the current root beer, you know, the Everose with the ceramic bezel. You know, great watch, but I wanted the previous model because I had never seen no holes case in 16718 with the root beer. Next up, I'm going to show you a watch that I wore the most out of everything. It's a 1655 Explorer 2. I remember buying this watch from one of my first clients, and he was like, this is a watch you should keep because you'll never be able to replace it. And I took his advice, and you know, I just love the dial. It's all original. Not the most perfect condition, but it has a history with me because I've owned it very long and no desire to sell it. A watch that I wore on vacation, watch with my kids. You know, I've had my own history with this one. Next up, I'm going to show you 5513 Submariner, 1970. For me, the dial on this specific one is where it's at. You can't get nicer aging. Plots have all aged nicely, all evenly. I like the clean layout of the dial. It's the only Submariner that I wear regularly besides the green one. And it's definitely here to stay. Next up, I'm going to show you what's actually on my wrist today. It's the Richard Mille RM30 in rose and titanium. Times change, buyers' opinions change, what they like change. You know, now the market, it's either value or what's cool. And I think Richard Mille falls into both of those categories. Richard Mille I compare a lot to the new car brands like Pagani, Koenigsegg. I feel they reach out to a market that the buyers don't want to go with the trend. They want to go against the grain. They want something fresh. They want innovation, new materials. They speak to a different type of buyer, different type of wearer. People that want the next level. Next up, I'm going to show you guys probably one of the coolest watches in my collection. It's the Rolex Daytona Rainbow. Wasn't really any big demand, and then it was just cut short like that. I was fortunate to be in the early part of the wave on this specific one. You know, I got this really early out when they were first introduced. You know, back then, you know, they used to retail 90,000. Today, you couldn't touch it under 200. As it was being discontinued, I mean, the demand just went through the roof. This really started a wave with jeweled watches with men, you know, with the newer modern Rolexes. You know, you have the Leopard, now you have the Submariner with the sapphires, GMTs, you know, and there's a huge demand for them. I just want to thank you guys for watching, taking some time to see what's in my watch box, what's in my collection. A lot of you guys have always asked, what watches do I own? Do I even like watches? Is it still fun anymore? You know, yes, I do. You know, it's part of my daily life. I do love watches. I do collect watches. I do consider myself a collector. And if you're looking for that special one, you know, we are the guys to help you find it. Fill out a form on the website, send it in. You know, we get many watches in that never make it to the website, and we can help you find that special one.